Hey guys, welcome back to more ARK Arena. In today's video, we're going through all the active codes at the start of April 2021. Now, there's no new codes. We did have that code a few days ago if you were keeping in touch, but this is more for those people, for new people, for people who haven't been paying attention to codes and just want a recap of what they can go ahead and redeem at the start of every month. And then also, if you're re-rolling, you can make use of this. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through all those active codes that you can see on screen. They'll be in the pinned comment and in the description. We're going to go through a quick wish list of what I would put on the wish list, and also a few little changes that have happened in the beginner rewards if you are re-rolling or starting fresh that are really nice. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is come to this website. I will leave it linked in the description. Basically, there was an issue with Apple terms of service, so you're not really supposed to have codes in games. So this is a little workaround by putting it through a website. So what you're going to do with this is you can see this. You basically got to log into your account. So what you're going to do here is you got to enter your user ID. Now to find your user ID, we come over here in game and we hit the top left corner, which is your portrait. We go, and the top right here, you can see that user ID. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter mine in over here. We'll jump back over to the camera and enter this in. So mine was 126. I've just got it up on the other screen. 098 178. And so that is my code, and I'm going to hit send code. Up the top, you'll see verification code has been sent. So now I jump back over into the game and go back over here to my mail, and here there'll be a verification code. Now, keeping in mind, don't enter the codes I enter. You will have your own user ID. You will get your own verification code. So now I'll go ahead and enter this 856766 over in the website. So over here, 856766, I think it was. I don't have it open, but that'll do. And then we hit login. So if it's all right, it'll say login successful. Now you'll see the server of your account, the account name, and the level of the account. So you can see we've logged in there, and now we have this gift code option. So literally all you do from there is you jump over here, and these are all the active codes at the moment. And we're just going to literally copy, paste, and then redeem. And up the top, you'll see successful. If I try and redeem that again, it'll give me an error code because we've already redeemed it. So you'll know they work if they give you that tick up the top. So we go to the next one. And once again, all these are going to be in the pinned comment and in the description. So you can just go ahead, straight up, copy paste them. Now, I put them in order of like the best ones to the worst ones. So the top ones are going to be the best one. The top one is going to be 30 scrolls, which is really nice. The second one's going to be like 500 diamonds and 5 scrolls. Then we've got one with like I think 300 diamonds and 20 elite shards, and then they go into a bunch that just have 100k gold and 100 diamonds. But 100k gold from a bunch of codes is still really nice in the early game to get that gold, because you do find a gold shortage in the early game. But there we go, redeem, and that is all of them redeemed. Now we can jump back over into the game over here, and we should be able to close that, exit out of the mail. So we just get out of that, and then we go back in, and you can see there they are. So the first one we entered is this bottom one, which had the 30 faction scrolls. Like I said, then we had the 5 and 500, the 320, and then, you know, you get into some not so great rewards, but still everything's nice. We go ahead and collect all of that stuff, and that gives us all the goodies there. Now, if you're re-rolling or anything like that, the thing I wanted to note is that over here in the newbie event, we do have this one here. So the Divine Light, we do get 1,000 diamonds. This one used to only ever be 500 diamonds. It is 1,000 now. So go ahead and collect that. That is really nice to get some extra goodies. Besides that, you want to go over to your quests. You want to go here, collect all the diamonds that you can get from there. And then you'll get some more there. We move down, we collect 500 here. We collect another 600 here, which is nice. And then we get another 300 from there. And then the other thing you can do, which I'm not going to do right now because it's very tedious, you can do it either through this page, or you can go through the portraits, find the characters that you do have. If they've got a red exclamation mark up the top here, you click on them, you go to story, you go open, and you can collect the diamonds. So every character you get, you can do that with. The common characters, they don't, but the legendary tier heroes, which are the more common ones than the Ascended tier, they do give them as well. So you can click in all those and get a bunch more diamonds if you want. But that is where you're going to be. You're going to be sitting at about the 540. Once you do that, you can have a few hundred more, like I said. And we're also going to have the 35 scrolls. And then in the bag, we're also going to have the 20 shards here, which it doesn't get you a summon yet, but hey, once you do get to 60, it is quite nice. So let's jump out of there. Let's go back into the tavern. Now, one thing I want to note, your first 10 pull does give you a guaranteed purple, so keep that in mind. But the wish list, quickly, I'll go through a very quick wish list of what I would do. I'll probably do a full video about this. I like to update a full wish list video every once in a while when we get a bunch of new characters, because people always ask what I would put in the wish list for a new player. So we're just going to clear that out, and what we're going to do here is we're going to go light bearers. So first up, Rowan is the non-negotiable for me. I feel like Rosaline and Eluard are both very strong supports to put in there as well. Now, for newer players, I definitely recommend Lucius. He's the best tank early game in my opinion. He does fall off a lot late game, and you won't really use him in the end game. So he falls off, but you can still link him to a dimensional if you don't know what that means. Dimensionals, basically you can link them to any other hero and then they gain their ascension tier. So ascending Lucius is not too bad. Just don't invest too much into his signature item and furniture and you'll be fine. But for newer players, definitely, if you're an experienced player re-rolling and you know what you're doing, you can probably drop Lucius if you want. But for most people, I just think he's an absolutely fantastic tank in the early game. The final spot, I normally go Cecilia. There's a thing called the Abyssal Expedition, which Cecilia is really strong in, and to bring someone into that, you need them at Elite Plus, which basically means you've summoned 2 copies. So for me on a new account, I'd summon for 2 copies of Cecilia and then swap her over to Gwyneth because I want to get some Gwyneth copies from my account. So that's how I'd play the Light Bearers. Maulers are very up to you. There's a lot of different ways people like to play Maulers. Me personally, I'd go for 1 copy of Brutus and then swap him off. But the main ones I'd go for are going to be Skriath the Chicken. He's just fantastic with his furniture when he unlocks it. I like going Titus, Screg, Kren. And then for the last one, you can do, like I said, I'd do 1 copy of Brutus, and then you can go for Sophia. Now, some people do really like things like Drez, Citrana, Totem Dude as well. But like I said, for me, 1 copy of Brutus, and then I'd swap it over for Sophia. Moving on from that, we have Wilders. Now, for me, Wilders are fairly basic. I always go for Iron, Saurus, Tassi, Leica, and Pippa. Now, Pippa can also be exchanged for Namora. And that's pretty much it, but I always like Pippa. I think she's just a better unit overall. We do have the new guy Raku. He doesn't quite make the list for me. The Wilders is just a really strong list. Moving into Graveborn, we go with Damon, Isolde, Silas. They're the 3 core ones, and these last 2 slots you can sort of mix up. For me, Odin is so strong in the early game. Having 1 copy of him is amazing, so I always put Odin on my wish list, and then I always go for Pharrell as well. Some other options in those 2 slots that you can play around with, things like Nara, Thorin, and Isabella. Isabella got a buff, so if you want to use her as a carry damage dealer, you can. I don't think it's the most optimal way to play, but hey, some people want to have fun with that. Thorin, because he becomes good in the later game. And then Nara, because she's really handy even at 1 copy to lock out certain enemies. And Pharrell has great CC, but this is the way mine would look in my wish list. So next thing I want to do is we're going to do a summon. We're going to get a guaranteed purple. So let's go in and start the summoning. As you can see, we get the guaranteed there because your first 10 pull is guaranteed to have one. We did get a Brutus. Now, once you do this 10 pull and you get your purple, what I want you to do is click the Facebook share. And I want you to do it. For me, I don't have Facebook installed, so it's going to give me an error code. But I want you to do this 5 times. If it does take you to take you over to Facebook, you don't have to actually share. You can just leave it. So like I said, I think this is 5, but we'll do 1 more for good measure. You're going to share it 5 times. Now, the reason you can do that is because when you jump out of that, we can go back here into these events, and then we go to newbie events. The first thing it's going to do is 2 shares is going to get you a Wukong. Now, this guy's a great damage dealer up until he reaches level 100. So most people can use him as their main carry. He's absolutely fantastic for it. So he's a great hero to get that 1 copy of. And this event is unlimited. It's always there. You've just got to share twice. Now, the reason we did 5 shares is because when we go down here into this event, we can actually get a bunch of dust. Now, dust you do have a great shortage of in the early game, so it's really fantastic to get that really early. So just doing those shares straight away so you don't have to worry about it is really a smart thing to do. So now you're going to jump in, do the rest of your summons, and see how you go. So we're just doing these for the fun. Not bad. Got back to back. That's pretty good. And we got a Rowan, which is fantastic. Rowan is just an amazing hero. Now, the thing is with summons, if you go 2 10 pulls without getting a purple, your next one will have a guaranteed purple. So, for instance, here, if we go here, we're moving on to our diamonds. If we don't get anything on this one, our next 10 pull of scrolls will have a purple in it. Now, you can... The one thing you never do is never do singles with diamonds, because a single costs 300, whereas the 10 pull costs 27. So you're actually wasting diamonds doing singles, but you can do singles on scrolls. Now, when I said the next 10 pull has a guaranteed purple, it's in the next 10 scrolls we have a guaranteed purple. So if you want, you can do singles like this, and that guaranteed might pop up. But if it doesn't, it's okay, it'll be in the next 5. So I'm just gonna pop that, see if we can get it here. And there is our guaranteed on that 5th one. And there we go, we get an Iron, who is a really nice damage dealer. Now, the things you're really looking for when you do these summons, for me, the 2 best carries early game are Damon and Isolde. So those are the 2 I'd be looking for, but Iron and Soros are pretty good as well. But that is pretty much it for the reroll process, new player process, all the codes. So hopefully we do get some more codes coming up soon in the game, because we are really close to the 2-year anniversary, which means freebies and goodies, I hope. So anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I'll look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.